Hey guys, Chantel here again to show you how I created these two cards using only my silhouette. So I wanted to show you how you could use your silhouette to create die cuts as well. Using only my silhouette, I was inspired by a video I watched of Jennifer McGuire's. I will link her video down in the description below. She used die cuts and a cutting machine. Okay, so although I have the file already saved to my drive, I wanted to start from a clean slate of paper and show you how simple it is to create the card that I showed you at the beginning of this video. So first thing I want to do is I want to create a square, and I just held down the shift button and clicked and dragged onto my mat to make a perfect square, and then I can come over here to the align window and the scale window, and set the square to be, or the shape to be, what I want. And I want it to be a little bit smaller than 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Or I want it to be exactly 4 1/4 and 5 1/2. Right, because this is going to be the base for the card. Let's flip that. So the width is 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. There we go. So there I have my square base, and so now I need a word to put in the middle there. And I'm gonna go to my files here, and actually what I'll do is I'll just create the word. So I'm going to click on the text button and type congratulations. Right, so then there's the word, and it comes out in Arial Unicode MS, which is the font that is just the automatic font as you type. So then I'll go over to font style and change it. I want it to kind of be cursive-y. That's not a word, I just made it up, but you know. So yeah, change the font, and now I'm going to size this down. I just clicked on the corner square and held that down, and I'm able to drag and resize the word as I want it to be, and I want it to fit right in here. So I'm gonna drag it and then move it so that it fits inside of the box there. Okay, so now we did that part, and what I want to do is I'm going to create an offset for the word. So it's highlighted, the word's highlighted, and then I'm going to come down here and click offset. You can also right click right on the word, and so you're going to click on offset, and you see how it puts that border around the outside of the word. So I have that, and what I also like to do is make them colors, just so that I can see what I'm working with, right? So I have to click off of my word. There we go. And there you have the offset of the word, right? I'm just making it a little bit smaller. I didn't do that when I had the offset window open but you can also change your offset, how close or far away it is from your word, by doing this. It takes a little bit more time, but you can do it. So then there's the offsets for my word. So what's ultimately going to happen is when I go to cut my paper, it'll cut that line and that shape, right? So the other part of this is I added a line. I'm going to hold my shift because I want it to be a completely straight line, and if I hold the shift down and then click the right mouse and just drag across, it will automatically just be a straight line. So there's that. And then I want this offset to be right in the middle, right? I don't want the line to cut inside the offset there. So that part of the line I just want to delete. I'm going to grab the square and I'm going to just delete it like that. There may be other ways that you can do that, but for me that's the quickest and easiest way, just to knock it out. So now I have my offset, my lines where it's going to cut the paper. Let me go here to the cut settings so you can see when it turns red. So you can see where it's going to cut. So when this paper cuts out, I'm going to have this top sheet, this bottom sheet, and the bottom half of the words offset would be attached to this bottom sheet, and the top half will be attached to the top sheet. So then what I do is just make sure that this fits in there nicely, and it does. Okay, so you want to make sure you want to pull this out, your word, because you're going to cut that separately. I just like to take this and group it, because then what you can also do is, if you use a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, you can do multiples of this. So I can just duplicate it as many times as will fit. Now if I'm using an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, of course it would only be twice, but in this case I can get 4 cuts of this design at one time. So I'll just go and lay them out on the 12 by 12 paper, check my settings. I want it to cut cardstock, if that's what I'm using, cardstock. And then you load your paper as normal. Make sure your blade is set at the right number. And sometimes, depending on the type of paper that you're using, which you won't, you have to learn as you use different papers. This 3, you may not need to use a 3. It may just be a 2. What I found is, if I use this 3, let's say, which is the setting that the silhouette has for just straight cardstock, if I use this setting and I cut through my mat a little bit, then I know that that paper is not as thick as 20. So either one, I would turn the thickness down or turn my blade down, so then the blade doesn't cut as deep. Yeah, so either one of those two things, but you would have to check and see the type of paper that you have and how well it cuts through the paper. So this is pretty much how you would create that card. So you would take this cardstock and you would print that out on paper in the number of colors that you want to use to create your layers, and then you would stack them, with a little bit of the other color showing underneath it, and then you can put your card together. Now I have it almost like Jennifer did, where the top sheet was a little bit shorter than the bottom, because then she added a sentiment to the bottom, and so did I on one of my cards. But you could also take this and put it right in the middle or at the bottom. If you use a simple word like thank you or thanks, and you just want it to be down here in this corner, you could do that also. But the method would be the same. You would create your word, you would offset it, and then you would put the offset like in that area, right, where you want it to cut that part of it. Make your line from the left to the right, so then it would cut that part. Or if you don't want it to cut straight through, you want it to, but that would be a different type of card. It wouldn't be the card that we're creating today. But you could do that too. If you wanted just a card where the thanks was cut out of the layer, then you could do that as well and just cut it just like that. And yeah, and then you put your words in. In this case, it would be the congratulations. You would put that through on sheets of the paper as well. And what I would do is I would duplicate the congratulations as well, so that it would cut out on this same paper, because I'm going to stack those also. And you've got this extra space down here, right? So I would just put my congratulations down here. So I'd cut my top layer, you know, all my papers, the different colors with here, and then the congratulations would also cut in that same number of colors. But once you start to stack them, you'll get the same effect, which is what I did with the card I had. I didn't cut the congratulations all in the same color. So super easy, super simple. All I used was my silhouette. I didn't have a congratulations die cut this size to use to create this with, and I just wanted to show you a little bit of the versatility with using your silhouette machine and being able to create some of the same things that we can create when we're using die cuts and things like that. So I hope this was helpful. Like this video if you like it with a thumbs up, and comments below. I'd appreciate that as well. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. I'd love to share with you more. Okay, thanks. Have a good one. Bye.